No, it's the strangest thing. When my head hit the pillow on April 10th, I did so under the distinct impression that refoulement of an honored asylee was an explicit violation of human rights under the Charter of the UN. But silly me, evidently I neglected to read the fine print, where it states that this policy applies to absolutely everyone except Julian Assange.
Right now, Julian Assange is in police custody in London. His 7-year-long standoff with authorities in the UK is over. Now, this is video, we should tell you, from RT, which is the news agency owned by Russian television. You can see there at the center Assange being carried out of Ecuador's embassy, where he has been holed up since 2012.
Since 2010, we've warned that Julian Assange would face prosecution and extradition to the United States for his publishing activities with WikiLeaks. Unfortunately, today, we've been proven right.
The UN Charter of Human Rights. When it isn't being used as a wet nap by the Saudis, it's almost as lovely a wall hanging as a Persian rug or a women's studies degree. But never was it more flagrantly fucking soiled than this past week with the sadly inevitable apprehension and arrest of Julian Assange and his fully sentient Gimli beard. And hey, trotting him out in full view of the film cameras was a humanitarian touch. What's the matter, Ecuador? Having him drawn and quartered like the third world tin pot of lore afforded a 1940s fucking perp walk? Sadly, with a shitstorm of this gale force magnitude, I find it's easy to get caught up in sweeping issues of public disclosure, freedom of speech versus national security, and our old pal privacy rights, when really, this is a vindicative gesture on Ecuador's part. Julian Assange, since seeking asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy in 2012, has consistently maintained that his attempted incarceration over what first was framed as sexual assault in Sweden, which I imagine was only a problem because they didn't ask a Somali refugee if he wanted first fucking dibs, was in fact a cover story, a fact he reiterated just a month ago and was labeled a conspiracy theorist. But now the hold card is down and the Defense Department's hand is laid bare. Covert fucking extradition warrant! And yes, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, every alphabet news aspie to ever settle on journalism after a failed underwear modeling career, that means thank you, fuck you, Julian Assange was right.
I've just been with Mr. Assange in the police cells. He wants to thank all of his supporters for their ongoing support, and he said, "I told you so."
You know, but fuck the red tape, fuck the paper trail veneer, fuck their prevarications and justifications aplenty, fuck them all right in their gaping ideological stink hole. We know why this man is in chains, and it ain't because he and Bradley Manning dropped a dime on some odious Afghan war shit that didn't even technically endanger anyone. It's because he fucked the unfuckables. He assailed Olympus and punched Poseidon flush in his barnacle-encrusted hipster beard. Some people in power are truly untouchable, and sadly, if the Weinstein trial's any indication, they also do most of the touching. In short, Julian Assange committed the unpardonable affront of exposing the two-party paradigm as the precise puerile shell game shitshow it's always been, and unlike the odd talking head or radio host, he brought the receipts to back it up. Understand this: the ideal election to the establishment in power took place in 2012. Romney v. Obama. Turdwater v. ass cancer. If Romney had won, the president would be an impotent, ineffectual establishment figurehead from Massachusetts. And if Obama won, the president would be an impotent, ineffectual establishment figurehead from Chicago. You see? You have to get out and vote. And evidently the public appreciated not having to pull the lever for Tweedledee or Tweedledum, because contrary to bloviating assholes like Ben Shapiro, in key battleground states like Pennsylvania, Trump actually picked up votes from Romney's 2012 totals, I believe in no small part due to at least the appearance of outsider status. The very same syndrome that arguably torpedoed Martha McSally come midterm time right here in Arizona. But either way, Trump will not be recorded as yet another stopgap presidency, a Democrat who gives tax cuts to the rich, a Republican who pushes open border bullshit. In short, this.
What people need to understand is that the rules we live by during peacetime no longer apply. America is at war.
No. What folks have to comprehend is that the laws we abide by are no longer applicable. America is in a non-peacetime period.
No. The government must be allowed to bend the laws in order to protect its people.
I disagree. The administration should be allowed to take liberties with the rules to defend its citizens.
You don't know what you're talking about.
And you, sir, are unaware of the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Gentlemen.
Assange himself has taken several swipes at Trump, further bolstering my contention that his aid was not so much toward Trump as it was against Hillary. More specifically, the green-skinned goddamn gremlins that fucking fund people like Hillary Clinton and John McCain and Paul Ryan, and really we could do this all night. But one of the aforementioned affronts I willingly concede Trump has committed is even allowing Assange's arrest. This may date back to Barack's cozy little Chicago corruption cabal, but the Trumpmeister's in town now, and one wonders whether he'll dismiss the charges outright, which his handling of the laugh riot case against Arpaio assertively attests he is more than willing to do, or will he sell out like Hasselhoff in Berlin and feed him to the fucking wolves? Myself? I personally have a feeling he'll play the longer game this time. It was all well and good getting Arpaio in the clear, but with the benefit of hindsight, Arpaio had already appealed his laughable conviction, and it may have actually been better in the long run to let him win that, which given the dearth of evidence after a near decade-long courtroom colonoscopy, he absolutely would have, by the way. What form the long game might take is up in the air at this juncture, but if I was a betting man, I'd say they might offer him a deal. Assange is no stranger to confinement, so is a short stint in prison all that different from being confined to an Ecuadorian closet for 7 fucking years, particularly in exchange for the full fucking skinny on, say, Hillary, the Uranium One deal, maybe the all too often ignored meddling of the Ukraine, fuck even spilling the beans on how Vince Foster fired a bullet into his brain without gripping the goddamn gun should get a suspended sentence. One result I will not accept, and for me remains an outright deal breaker for Trump's re-election come 2020, is carrying Clinton's water by throwing the book at the beard in question in defense of an unmitigated bullshit artist.
You know, he skipped bail in the UK. You know, Sweden had those charges which have been dropped in the last several years. But the bottom line is he has to answer for what he has done, at least as it's been charged.
You know, truth be told, I'm not even the biggest fan of fucking WikiLeaks. Never have been, probably never will be. Everyone has an ulterior motive, and personally, I can see theirs from outer fucking space. But forced disclosure of iniquities in government surveilling citizens on the sly and all manner of censorious pablum? That's not a crime! That's a service! I was a lifelong skeptic of conspiratorial claims, but for me, as for the fucking most of us, I think, the tsunami of sewage we all ingested upon the WikiLeaks drops of 2016 forever mollified that predisposition. During the 2015 primaries, I was your average normcore conservative, albeit centered slightly further to the right than most. By the end, I was more paranoid than Alex Jones watching the Manchurian Candidate on the 9th day of a crack binge.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Because while much of it may be hearsay, as of 2016, one fact is fucking immutable. Government is to truth-telling what Stephen Hawking was to the 200-meter dash. Period. So yes, we're watching, Mr. President. We're not bending on the border. Bomb Syria for the Saudis again and we're Splitsville. Assange exposing corruption in the same system that spent the last 3 days grilling the IRS chief about why we aren't paying enough taxes should get him medals, not manacles. I'm Razor Fist. God. Fucking speed.
Something's wrong. Why can't you see that there ain't no way to escape? Escape, baby, I'm a prisoner.
What? That's my platform, you thief! And let me tell you something else, you pompous windbag. You're the reason America is such a mess. Oh, I'm the reason, am I? Well, if I'm a pompous windbag, then you're a jackass. How dare you call me a jackass? Look, he was going to hit me. I feel sorry for the American people that this is all they have to choose from. I refuse to share the same stage as you. Where do you think you're going? I'm leaving the stage. Oh, really? Well, which exit are you going to take? This one. No, I'm taking this one. Fine, I'll take this one. If you want an original thinker in office, vote for me!